This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Hello, dear viewer and dear listener. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. I'm as excited as ever to bring you these powerful entrepreneurs, life changers, as it were, and game changers. And before we get into the nitty-gritties of the interview, do me the favor, please, just strike that subscribe button. We need you to do that. And as always, a shameless plug. My book, Nuggets of Grit, is out. And it's going for a discounted price. If you mention that you saw it on Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom, I'll give it to you for $360. And please get in touch with my PA. The number to dial, 397-1368. Or come to first floor Mogobe Plaza and you grab yourself a copy. Let me welcome Ajay Arora, who is my guest today. We're going to talk about all things technology. We're going to talk about Gadget, Guru, and much, much more. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mogobe. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, can we start the ball rolling by you telling them who you are and sharing your background in terms of your education and training?
All right. Yes. So just to give you a little bit of history, I came to Botswana in 2012 and I am a technology guy. Like people say, I sleep, breathe, drink technology. That is my passion, my motivation in life. And as far as education goes, it goes all the way back to in India, where I did my master's in computer science and followed it up by post-graduation in marketing as well. So what I bring,
master's in marketing.
Masters in marketing as well. So what I essentially bring to the table is a combination of technology plus how it can be relevant for the end user. That is the key mantra that I bring.
Okay. When did you develop interest into technology?
Okay.
How did it all start?
Right. It all started in my school days. Back in the 90s, so where the computers back then were big boxes and it was like visiting a prayer room. I say that because you had to take out your shoes to enter those IBM mainframe machines for the fear that dust might not impact them in any way. So you really had to be very careful in handling those big machines. So that what intrigued me, got me going that one day I have to learn these things, which are going to be all the more relevant in the years to come.
Okay. And in terms of your training at university, was it centered on computer science?
Yes, it was essentially centered on software development. As opposed to networking, because yes, I've been in Botswana for almost 12 years now. I see a major thrust of the youth today is on networking, but my major focus was on software development, in understanding business challenges that people face and how to write efficient code for that to solve those technical problems.
All right. Now, you have an entity known as Gadget Guru. Before we talk about what it is exactly, I want to understand from you how the name came about.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You see, Gadget is something which I love. I love to experiment. I love to tinker around. If you come to my office in Habaroni Commerce Park, you'll find my den where I do all my experiments. And I tinker around with things, trying to mix and match. Every other day you will find me working on something new. I mean, I'll share that out of the 10 experiments that I do, 8 will fail. But that never brings me down because I have that love and passion.
You know that two will work.
Two will work. So even if two work, that makes my day. You know. So I always try to identify the gaps, what people are, or the problems people are facing, and then Guru stands for teacher. So I'm someone who learns. Technology is like a vast sea. You cannot claim to be an expert in technology because every day something new or the other is coming. So you need to firstly absorb what is coming your way, to understand, to have that analytical bent of mind. At the same time, just not keep the knowledge to yourself, but rather be a teacher, or in guru, as in India we call teacher a guru, a mentor. So I make it a point that I pass on my knowledge to local Botswana as well, so that everybody stands to progress.
And how big is the company, and in terms of not just personnel but revenue and size and so on?
Yes, so you'll be happy to know that on an annual basis, we grow about 40 to 50% on our turnover.
That's wonderful.
On our sales. Yes. So mainly because technology, like I said, is a big sea. So I try to, what I might say, spread my risk in different areas of technology. So yes, we do something called as IoT, which is Internet of Things. At the same time, we also do software development. In the days of COVID, yes, all businesses were struggling, but we were able to be afloat just because of the reason that we have diversified our business, our lines of technology into different streams. So you have software development, you have home and office automation, you have GPS tracking. So these revenue, if one was down, the other was
Security Solutions.
We have Spy Security Solutions. So those are quite in demand, especially from the law enforcement authorities in Botswana. We are the go-to guy in the country. If you need something which is really secretive, come to us. We have those answers for you.
I'm going to touch on your offerings at random because there's just a lot.
Yes.
And then speak to what that is and what you are offering.
Absolutely.
I'll go to Smart Water Solutions.
Right. So these are water solutions. Why? Firstly, like I said, I first try to understand what are the problems on the ground. So common problem in Botswana is leakage in the pipes. So how do you address it? Detecting a physical leakage in your house and office is not easy.
Not at all.
Yes. So what we do is we install a smart meter at your office or your house. So what that meter does is two things. First is it gives you the average consumption of water on your house on any given day. So everything now is connected to IoT or to your apps on the phone. So you get a real-time usage pattern of water consumption at any given point in time, right? So let's say you've used about 50, your average consumption is about 50 liters per day in your house, and suddenly you see a spike that it's gone to 200 liters. So the app gives you a notification to tell you that your consumption has gone up. So that gives an alarm bell to you that, hey, there's a leakage.
Isn't that a problem for those users who have a lot of units, or the system somehow coordinates and manages that?
Yes, so it can be relevant to individual house owners as well as complex apartments, and obviously the business users as well, because what it saves you is from the shock of having a huge bill end of the month, because it tells you well in advance that, hey, your usage today is going up, you better take notice, so that you are saved from that expense of having inflated bills.
It's what is known as smart meters.
Smart meters, smart connected meters.
And how do you link it up with your phone and with an app on the phone?
Yes, good question. So what we do is, these are Wi-Fi meters. So we connect them to the local Wi-Fi available in your home and your office, and from there they connect to a central cloud server,
Okay.
which in the end connects to the app.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a real-time view or a graph to tell you how the consumption has been.
Do you have? Is it your own invention? Is it one of your gadgets?
It's one of my gadgets which we have customized
Mm-hmm.
to suit Botswana conditions.
Okay, so you have IP on that.
Yeah, I have an IP on that.
Oh, that's great. That's
Right.
great. What did you change from the original to make it special for Botswana?
Okay, what essentially it was quite technical and not very user friendly. So what it was just giving us the raw data. So I have my team of developers in house where we configured the dashboards and make them more user friendly. So we get the raw data from the machine or the hardware. Based on that, we did the analysis, and then you get the graphs of your daily consumption. On top of it, you also get a usage report, which is emailed to you automatically, so that you don't even have to bother about checking the meter physically.
Tell me about the 2-in-1 gadget, the smart sprinkler.
All right. So yes, this is another item which is relevant to farms. Right now, when I visit farms, I still see them being worked manually, in the sense that you have to physically turn on the knobs and make them work. Whereas with our system, everything is governed by the app. So you set a timer that sprinkler number 4 or number 8 is going to turn on and this time. So you no longer have to be physically present at the farm. The sprinkler just works on its own like a charm.
And why you say 2-in-1?
2-in-1 because it gives you the usage of water at your farm, as well as it does the sprinkling function. So even if, let's say, you're in holiday in Switzerland, you're having the time of your life, but at the same time the sprinkler is doing its magic, it's working, and it's alerting you that this is the time I started, this is when I stopped, and this is the water I used.
Both these gadgets that you mentioned sound very, very brilliant.
Yes.
How do you come up with these gadgets? Can you share with me your ideation process or your creative process?
Right. So what I try to do is identify key players in the market for these individual segments, and then I bring those gadgets in-house to Botswana to physically test them if they pass my qualification criteria. Because the one benefit of having so much connectivity these days is you've got a plethora of devices from which you can see what meets your need. But sometimes what is marketed online may not qualify to be a good product.
May not be user friendly.
Or it just breaks apart. The quality, construction quality might not be that good. It might not be robust. So I import them, I test them personally. I use them for a couple of days. If I like them, then I approach the suppliers, the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, and I say that, hey, why don't I be your partner for Botswana? Let's collaborate, because I have the technology know-how. I understand the market conditions. Let's adapt your product to suit local conditions. So that's when we handshake and we launch the product. So in any given month, I experiment with almost between 5 to 10 products, different IT, different segment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a brilliant plan.
Right.
It explains the 50% growth per annum.
Yes.
It explains a lot.
Right.
Now, Wi-Fi smart power meter
Right.
and circuit breakers.
Right.
Tell me about that one.
Okay. So again, continuing with our innovation streak, prepaid power meters are already a reality. We are already using them. So I thought that what other I can do to improve them further. So what we have is a Wi-Fi circuit breaker. So again, I visited farms in the rural areas, and I could see that the farmer has to travel all the way just to close the borewell. He has to travel 100 k's, 200 k's to turn the borewell on and off. So why don't we make it as a smart farm? So what we did was, installed a Wi-Fi circuit breaker. So which means from your app, you can turn the borewell on and off. You don't physically have to be there. Another icing on the cake is you can even set a timer that the borewell will be on, let's say, only from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, and then it will be off. So the moment it is turned on and off, it gives you the notification that the job has been done. So the whole idea being that you are able to control your farm remotely without necessarily having to be there.
How much computer engineering in terms of coding and software engineering is involved in all of that? Is it not very, very hectic?
Yes, it is hectic, but again, the beauty of technology is that for the common person, you have to make it very user friendly. If you make it too technical, you will scare away the customer. So that's where my education in management and marketing comes into play, whereby I look at things, I step into the shoes of my customer and look at it from their angle, that what is he going to use it for the majority of the things. So then I make my technology very simple enough that a layman or a person on the road should be able to use it. To give you an analogy, the iPhones that we use nowadays, they've got almost 1 million parts working in them, small parts. But end of the day, you find it so easy, so user friendly to use. That's why people love iPhones. So the complexity has completely to be hidden away from the end user. That's where the trick lies. You are able to make your mark depending on how easy it is for the end user to use your technology. Your marketing jargon, your social media platforms, really we use it just to make sure that people find them easy to use.
Okay. As an example, perhaps you could illustrate using the vehicle tracking wired. First, explain what the market offered and what tinkering you did to make it user friendly, and the kind of offerings you have in your business.
Yes. So vehicle tracking or GPS tracking is something which we started 3 years back. So as an entrepreneur, I always try to scout for gaps or market segments where I think that there is some business to be made. So I identified GPS tracking, yes, is already being done, but it is not still up there. There is a gap for improving it further. So we launched GPS trackers 3 years back, which are your conventional GPS trackers, but we did a little bit twist there as well. So now with our GPS trackers, let's say, Mr. Mogobe, your car is stolen.
Yes.
Right? You are able to track it down via the app, which is fine. But what if you're able to switch it off? That's what we do. So imagine your car is stolen and the thief is driving away in Maun or somewhere, enjoying himself. But now we give you a button on your app. You press the button and the ignition is off. Immediately. So he just can't do anything about it.
And at the same time, you are tracking where it is.
Where it is.
You can even look for the most convenient place for him to park. You can decide, for argument's sake, if he's driving through an area infested with lions,
right,
that let him drive right through and go and park in the nearest shop. When he stops,
it will not
move. You'll be watching him on Google Maps.
Yes.
Is that how it works?
That's how it works. You watch him real time, where exactly on what street he is.
What did you take out in the old Gadget, and what did you put in the new Gadget to make this possible?
Okay.
You can tell us without sharing all the IP.
Yes. No, that's fine. Like I said, I always try to spread around the knowledge around us. So I will invite my fellow Botswana people to come and work with us as intern, where you learn the tricks of the trade, and then doesn't matter if you work with me or not, but at least you carry that knowledge with you to help you enable the earn a living wherever you're going. So what we did there specifically with GPS is we got another relay which connects the tracker to the ignition system in any car. So what that relay does is the moment you press the switch on your app, the relay activates and it cuts off the ignition. So that what prevents the car from starting. As simple as that.
Yes.
So I made it sound simpler, but a little more complicated when we actually install it, right? And we make it easy because we don't tell the customer what we are doing. We just ask him to patiently wait for 30 minutes, have a look around the shop, what else we do. In 30 minutes, we are done with the job.
Is it expensive?
It's not expensive. To give an estimate, it's about 1.7 and it's once off.
Yes.
That's the beauty of the solution.
And it's guaranteed to last for the lifetime of the vehicle.
It's normally we give you a 1 year warranty, replaceable warranty, and our products typically last 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about GPS tracking when it comes to things like laptops, solar panels, kettle,
Yeah.
cars, because it is a concept that you are applying across different industries and different types of items.
Right. So once we ventured into the GPS tracking industry, I realized that why don't we carry forward the same success to other sectors as well? Because we meet a lot of corporate customers, government parastatals day in, day out. And one thing which they were always asking me, hey, Gadget Guru, stolen laptops are a big problem in this country. Why don't you come up with a solution? So I talked to my partners and we got a small chip, a GPS chip, custom made to be installed in a laptop. So what we do now is we open the laptop and we install a GPS chip connected to the motherboard of the laptop. So in the event that the laptop is stolen and the thief is driving away with your laptop, you can still hunt him down from the app.
But I was told that with Apple computers, that is there anyway. There's a tracking system.
That tracking system is there, but there are drawbacks to that when you actually start investigating what is already there. You see, what my research tells me is that the success rate of recovering your laptop or any asset is in the golden hour of initial 2-3 hours from the time the asset or the laptop has been stolen. And that's what we are trying to address. We are giving you real-time tracking. Immediately the laptop is picked up. What Apple and other big companies are doing is the laptop will have to be physically connected to an internet.
Oh, they wait for it to be used first.
Yes, they wait for it to be used, and on top of that to be connected to any kind of network. That's where they can track it down using the IP address or the MAC address. In our case, your laptop can even be switched off, but still we are able to track it down. How? Because the GPS is getting power from the laptop battery. So you get a real-time view of how the thief has been driving away. That's the key difference.
Excuse me. Hey, that may sound too good to be true. Do you have actual case, stories of recoveries? Can you give me examples of, without mentioning names of?
Yes.
So what happened? What success? Talk about the triumphs and the successes.
Yes. I'll talk about a triumphs and success with another innovation which we were working for last 2 years. If you allow me, can I show you that product?
Yes.
So this is our work for almost 3 years now. This is designed locally in Botswana. It is the next generation tracking solution for cattle. Right now, our farmer friends in Botswana are using the yellow tags, which
I'm a farmer. That's what I'm using.
Yes.
Part-time farmer.
Right. So the concern you will have most of the time is, especially when you're traveling, hey, I've got 100 cattle worth about maybe $500,000 just lying out there, and I have left it to the cattle boys to entrusted them with doing their job, but many a time they are not doing it diligently. So that is something which is bothering you all the time. That's where we are trying to address the problem. So these tags, you put them on the cattle. They are meant to replace the yellow tags.
Special name?
We are still to give them a name, but they are coming with another brand name called Cross Track.
Cross Track.
Yes. So which means tracking across borders. So now even if your cattle is going across the border, which is going to Namibia or to Zambia or wherever, it is still able to track it down. Why? Because we have designed a GPS chip inside which is roaming enabled. So it will catch with the nearest network operator in that area, and you will be able to track it down.
This thing is going to be on the cow's what? Ear?
Yes, it's going to be on the
Isn't
cow's
that
ear.
the first thing the thief does is to cut it off?
You're true. I agree on that. So what we are promoting it more is as a tracking system and not as an anti-theft device.
Okay.
That's the market we are trying to address. Right now your concern will more be on the location of the cattle.
For the ones that you have, you are belong to you, that you are
Belong
taking
to
care of.
you.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Because for the anti-theft device, as much as I would like to give that technology and launch that technology, but there are still certain limitations. We're going to get there, but it's still a couple of years down the line.
There was a time when there was another device which was actually made. The cow was made to swallow.
Yes.
Wouldn't you be thinking along those lines of looking for something that can stay in the stomach?
Yes, I did study that piece of technology as well, but it is still not able to address the basic problem, which is live tracking. So that technology is still passive, in the sense that to be able to read that cow, you need to bring a physical reader, which you will run through the cow, and then you will know that this cow belongs to Mr. Mogobe. In my case, what we're trying to do is real-time view. So that technology is not able to give you a real-time view.
How has the market responded to this product? Yet to be named.
Yes, yet to be named, because it's still at a beta launch. So what we're doing is right now giving it free to the farmer community to use them and come back to us with their feedback, so that we can further refine it and then roll it out subsequently. So we installed in couple of places in villages. We have installed in Ramotswa, Rasesa, Oitse, Lobatse. So these are 3-4 areas where we have installed it, and
on a pilot basis.
On a pilot basis, and the response has been very positive. Because it took us 2 years to reach this stage. Earlier the prototype was for a different shape, and we encountered a lot of challenges there.
What was wrong with the shape?
The issue was the size of the solar panel. It was a little bit small. So when you have a cloudy day, that particular device was not working well. Right? So what we did is...
So it took a lot of experimentation.
A lot of
trial and error,
and it involved working with teams which are across continents. So I have my software team sitting in India. I have my partners who are manufacturing in China. So there's a different partner.
And then you have some in the lab here.
Some in the lab here who's doing the coding and the analysis part. So you're talking about China, India, Botswana, right? All three multidisciplinary teams working together to make this a reality. So even you will not believe, but this is a 3D printed prototype.
What do you mean?
Yes. It's printed on a printer.
Explain that.
So what we did was, since it is still at a prototype stage, we were trying to experiment with different designs. So what we thought is, instead of using a full-blown manufacturing unit, why don't we use a 3D printer? Right? So there's a special ink or a glue which is needed. So you pour it in a printer, and you feed the design for the prototype, and out comes.
Right here in Gaps or out there in China?
It was in China,
Mm-hmm.
just that the design part of it was done locally
Wow.
with my team.
It's incredible.
Right.
And has it now gone out to market?
Yes, it's out there in the market. There are farmers who are actually using it,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to track down their cattle in real time as we speak.
And how does it retail?
Okay, we've priced it very competitively. A single unit goes for 1.5,
Mm-hmm.
which is once off,
1,500.
1,500. Now, the farmers are telling
That
me,
sounds
yes,
very expensive.
it's expensive. Yes, I agree to it.
Mm.
Now, that's where the catch is.
Mm.
We are not expecting the farmers to buy the tag for each one of your cattle.
Mm.
From what I talk to the farmers is, it's a herd mentality.
Mm-hmm. There's always a leader
There's always a leader.
or a couple
So
of
this
leaders.
goes on the leader or maybe the bull,
Mm.
which is the most expensive. So typical bull, I'm told, will cost between 35,000 to 50,000.
Mm.
So that's your prized asset.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where this goes on,
Mm-hmm.
and you put it on the leaders so that looking at the graph on the app, where the whole the gang is. So you don't have to go in all directions
Yeah.
looking for them.
Mm.
And you make lot of analysis also, because like we were testing it last week, I was also very surprised that how long the cattle can travel. So there is a breed called Brahman, I'm
Mhm.
told. They are the long haul. So this particular animal, it traveled about 18 kilometers in a single day.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Mm.
In search of water, I don't know what.
Mm.
But now the farmer exactly knew, looking from his phone, what route
It took.
it took
Mm.
and whether it is back in the cattle post or not.
Mm.
And we have set an intelligent boundary. We call it geofencing. So the cattle post becomes the geofence.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment the animal enters that geofencing, you get the alert on your phone to say that, hey, the animal is back.
Wow.
Right.
What other gadget are you as excited about as you are about this cattle tracker?
Yes,
Which
yes.
other gadget are you just as excited about?
Right. So
I'm sure there are lots of gadgets, but there are some that tickle your fancy more than others.
absolutely, you're talking a very relevant point here, because there are few projects which are very close to your heart.
Mm.
So cattle tracking is one,
I can tell.
right?
Mm.
And there's another one I started 3 months back.
Mm-hmm.
So I, as a businessman, sometimes I wear the hat like a businessman
Mm.
and sometimes like a techie. So as a businessman, I was on a lazy Sunday afternoon, I was thinking, hey, what else can I launch in Botswana? What are people more passionate and crazy about in any given day?
Mm.
So I was just looking outside my window and I saw so many cars. So I thought, why don't I launch something related to cars? It's a big industry. There's a gap I can fill up here.
Mm.
So I saw most of these cars, the import cars, which are coming in from Mogadishane. People spending 40,000, 50,000 grands. Yes, they are driving fine, but they are not high tech. They are not modern. They don't have the updated systems. So then what we are doing now is we have launched smart Android systems, smart screens for your car. So which means we take out the old screen and we put a new screen which is exactly fitting that particular car brand. Let's say you got a Golf or you got a GTI. So we take out the old screen and put a new one.
That one would be 10, 20 years old, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Mm.
So now it completely changes how you interact with the car.
Whoa.
Earlier it was a dump machine sitting there. Now it's interactive because it's connected to the internet.
Wow.
So now it says, hey Google, how's the weather? Out it comes. Hey Google, call Mr. Mogobe. It just dials.
Mm.
In fact, my phone is also listening now.
Mm.
So like a phone, your car is listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is there at your beck and command.
In 3 months, you been able to come up with it.
Yes.
What do you do with the old system? You just rip it off?
we rip it off and we give it back to the customer to do whatever he wants to. Either he can resell it or do whatever. But that is old school now as far as we go.
Do you need the manufacturer's permission to integrate?
No, this is what we call as retrofitting, because we are not tampering with the original wiring connections of the car. We don't cut any wires. So that's the reality.
You physically remove what? What do you remove, and then what do you physically replace?
So we physically take out the screen, and we also get something known as couplers. So those couplers attach to the existing wiring harness in the original car. So that the benefit is your steering buttons, the original buttons, they still work with our system, because you're not cutting any wires.
So currently you are still experimenting to see whether the market will bite.
It's already accepted. In fact, I will not take names, but we have tied up with some big players in Mogadishane, which is the car hub. So the strategy there is, again, from a marketing standpoint, instead of going to customers one by one, I thought, why don't I tie up with the big fish? So customers spending maybe 40,000 pula or 200 grands on any given car wouldn't mind spending another 4,000 pula on having a smart car. It's easy.
Especially if they are used to driving smart cars from before.
Yes.
Because if, for argument's sake, if it's a Range Rover from 10 years ago,
right,
and you suddenly make it the latest model,
right,
that's a huge value addition,
right,
and the customer is willing to pay for that.
Yes.
And will you give guarantees?
Yes, we give you 1 year guarantee on all these solutions, and not only the entertainment system, we are also doing something called as ambient lighting. So nowadays, modern cars which you buy from Naledi or Capital, all of them have got ambient lights or smart lights, interior lights. So I thought, why don't we launch that same technology to smaller cars? So now you can have that same interior blissful feeling, the warm feeling, in your Honda Fit as well.
Wow.
Or a Polo as well.
Why didn't someone think of this?
So that's where...
That sounds so brilliant. And have you registered your IP? Have you protected yourself at SIPA?
I'm weak on that, to tell you honestly. So I still have to work on that.
Don't you have lawyers you work with?
No.
Surely you should be doing that. Are you, as you come up with the gadget, are you doing some designs? Are you drawing things up?
Yes, we are drawing things up.
But shouldn't those be protected, those designs?
I need to do that because legal things is something which I need to get in touch with the right people. I'm talking to the right person now. So we need to exchange. We need to move in that direction.
Because the question is, are you making an adaptation from an original design? It's significant enough for you to qualify for your own IP.
Right.
Whether you look at the old act, the intellectual property and allied rights act, or whether you are thinking of it in terms of an industrial design.
All right.
There are pieces of legislations that govern that. On top of that, there are international conventions that govern that.
Okay.
So you want to protect yourself there.
Yes, I agree with you, because that is something, to be honest, has been my weak spot. I'll admit it.
Okay.
Because day in, day out, I'm so involved in my technical things, or trying to understand the market dynamics, or trying to identify the gaps, that I rarely pay attention to these legal aspects.
Yeah, you and I have to get busy on that outside this.
Yes, outside
to sort it
this.
out fast before it's too late.
Right.
How many gadgets would you say in total you are currently marketing that you yourself have created?
I lose count many a times, because there are so many experiments which I do. Sometimes I also get bogged down that, hey, I need to gather myself and focus on few certain areas. But any given day, out of all the maybe 100 products that I deal with, at least 20-30 of them are my top seller items,
Mm-hmm.
which I know I can make quick money.
Mm-hmm.
For example, solar cameras, 4G cameras, they sell like hotcakes with us.
Mm.
We easily sell between 40 to 50 cameras a month,
Mm.
and each camera goes for 4,000 each.
That's good money.
Right.
Mm.
So we stock them quite a lot because they are needed by the
you're
farmers.
talking about cameras that you have tinkered with and have created to make your own design.
No, those are simply trading.
Okay.
So there's a mix between a right mix between some things which I am simply trading and other things like the solar tracker
Which you have adapted.
that I've adapted
For your own, added your own peculiar
my secret sauce.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Right.
So my question is this: then the gadgets, how many gadgets would you say have your secret sauce in them?
I think around 10.
Around 10.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's very impressive.
Right.
Let's talk about the cameras. Is there anything special or peculiar about the ones you sell, or they can be obtained anywhere?
Okay. Again, I did a lot of research about camera industry when I started 3-4 years back. So I studied, you have common brands of cameras which are working fine. But again, I identified a gap, which is specializing in spy solutions. So you wouldn't believe
Are you
that.
talking about James Bond 007?
Yeah. So what you actually see on movies, or you see on Facebook advertisements, we do them right here in Habaroni.
Example?
I'm not carrying my stuff here today, but you'll be amazed as to the kind of spy solutions that we do. I might be wearing a regular specs like this, but it might have a camera in between, which is recording everything that we are doing, which can even do a live stream to someone sitting outside the office. So we have already supplied these solutions to law enforcement authorities within Botswana. I am not at all allowed to take names, which departments we have supplied, but you have to be extra careful when you're dealing with law enforcement these days, because they are getting secret stuff from us. So you're talking about glasses, you're talking about watch, you're talking about a pen, you're even talking about a regular looking smoke detector I see up there. It will have a small camera which is recording 360 degree. So the law enforcement authorities, they are putting them in the questioning room where they have a suspect whom they are interviewing, and then out there the bosses might be sitting in another part of the country where they are observing what is happening without the suspect
like in
knowing.
The movies, yeah.
Just like in the movies. So it's actually happening out here.
Now, individuals can also acquire some of this equipment, or does the law prohibit a regular person getting spy equipment?
Okay, so what we do is, yes, we do supply spy equipment, but we take an undertaking from the customer that he is not going to use it without the other person's permission.
Which person? The thief?
Not the thief, or maybe they're having a suspect.
Oh, yeah.
From a business angle, or maybe personal relationships issues, so much that we talk about.
The same way that you shouldn't record a conversation with your cell phone without telling the people around you.
Yeah. That's exactly
but
what
people
we
do it nevertheless.
So we have to safeguard ourselves. So we take an undertaking that yes, we are selling this to you, but you're supposed to use it responsibly, and we are not to be held liable for your actions.
Obviously, when you talk about setbacks and challenges and failures, one of them is your IP, failure to take care of your intellectual property correctly. What would you say are your other setbacks or failures or challenges?
Right. So you see, as an entrepreneur, my advice to people listening to us today will be, never stop experimenting. Don't let your weaknesses get onto you. whenever you might fall, like I say, out of the 10 experiments I do, 8 will fail. But you have to be mentally strong that yes, even if the 2 are successful, I have made my mark.
Amen. That's powerful.
It's powerful. So the setback I received was on my solar tracking project. So we started 3 years back, and it took us 1.5 years to roll out the first prototype, and we were out there testing it out in the wild to see how it responds, and we encountered some major problems there. Right. So I had a loss of strength, in the sense that I have invested so much time and money and energy on this project. Should I leave it and focus on something which is more lucrative, or I still continue my journey further? So I discussed it with my spouse, my wife, who has always been by my side all these years. So he said, Ajay, you already spent so much. Why don't you give it another 2-3 months and see where you go? Talk to your team. Don't lose heart.
Wow, it's good to have a spouse like
Good
that.
and importantly so, because I had to divide my risk, because she was already earning. She had a separate occupation which was helping us running the household as well.
She works for another company.
She is an accountant. She's not a techie like me. So we are completely contrast, and we complement each other in that way.
I believe so. Yeah.
Right.
Congratulations for having someone like that.
Yes. Thank you very much. So I got that trust from her, and I continued that journey. We made changes to the device. There were some technical issues we had to sort out in terms of the networks, in terms of the battery sizes. So we changed the model of the project, and now here we are, 1.5 years later, that we have a final product. So I thank myself that I didn't give up at that point in time. I had that grit and determination to go for the long haul, because an entrepreneur is...
So you had invested a lot. Did you divert funds from other successful ventures into this one?
Yes. So I had a certain budget in mind when I launched this project. And that 1.5 years had eaten away everything from that budget. So I had to take out something from my personal savings and reinvest into this project. So that was a very tough call, but I'm glad I took it, and I was able to make this project a reality.
That's a very, very touching story.
Yeah.
So you recovered from the setback.
Yes.
And have you had any other setbacks of a similar kind, or?
Yes, we often setbacks, in the sense, I will say challenges.
Yes.
In Botswana, selling technology is not easy. You have to overcome mental barriers, because in general there is a mental block people have that technology is very expensive or it is too complex. Botswana is still not ready for it. So these challenges we try to dispel by making lot of demonstrations, by attending podcasts like yourself, right, which is a good medium for us to educate the common public, to say that yes, what these beautiful things you see out there in developed nations are also available locally here. You don't have to cross the border or order things online. They are available locally. Importantly, what people do is they buy the stuff, but they don't get that support or the after sales service, and they don't get the whole value out of the investment they've made. That's where we step in. That yes, we get you a good product, but we make sure we give you the proper training so that you get the best use out of that product.
Okay. I want us to talk a little bit about AI and the IoT,
Right.
artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things. How have you deployed, if at all, AI in your processes, and how do you interact with AI?
Okay. Yes, AI is the buzzword these days. Everywhere you go, you talk, you listen, you watch interviews. AI is here to stay. It is a game changer. As I see it, it's an evolution. Every few years, you have something new coming to the market, which can really shake things up. If I look back when I started in 90s, it was the internet which shook up things. Earlier you had standalone computers, but now internet made things so accessible. So after internet, I think it was evolution for smartphones, especially the touch screens, which came in early 2000. So your smartphone became your mini computer, accessible all the time, giving interconnectivity. So after that, now I think it's AI, which is really shaking things up. So for good or bad, yes, it's debatable, but I think it's here to stay, and it's only going to get smarter day by day. So in my company, how we are using it is, by the way, we also do software development. We do solutions based on Microsoft for the parastatals and government departments. So it has allowed us to speed up things, in the sense that the basic code that we had to do is now being done by AI. So we just put in right expression statement, and it spells out the right code for us. So our launch time to market has really improved by embracing AI.
But can AI do code for you?
Yes.
Tell me
It
how
can.
that happens, how that works.
So how it works is, you will find it very surprised to believe that AI can now design a 2 to 3 page website for you. So you just have to say that I need a website for a logistics company with these features, and in 5 minutes it will give you the HTML code, which you can deploy on a server, and your website is ready. So earlier you need to hire a developer, paying him minimum 10-15,000 pula a month.
It's crazy.
So now, unfortunately, those days are gone. So basic coding is now easily possible using AI. Right?
I would argue it's fortunate. You're saving money.
You're saving money. So my address to the youth of the country will be, embrace AI and not get scared out of it. Because yes, it is giving you a basic source code. So your job now is to understand the complexity of the business which the customer is doing, and focus more on that instead of focusing on fixing the bugs, because that is now being taken care by AI. The AI is giving you absolutely neat and clean source code without any bugs. So you better apply your mind in being more analytical, being more intelligent, to understand the customer problems.
Which level of AI are you referring to? Because there are levels, isn't it?
Yes, so this, what I'm talking about, is readily available right now for you and me to use from ChatGPT. It's already doing right now.
ChatGPT has levels, doesn't it?
Yes, so if you go for the intermediate level, you subscribe to that, and then it makes it even more smarter.
Okay.
Right.
I want to talk about one of your other devices or other gadgets, since you are the gadget guru. This one intrigued me a little bit. It's talk about temperature and humidity sensor and the soil moisture sensor.
Right.
In fact, 3 sensors: solar sensor, temperature and humidity sensor, and soil moisture sensor.
Right.
Yes.
So these are part of solutions which we call as smart farming solutions. So the idea is, you are sitting here in your fancy room, but you want to take control of your farm out there in Rasesa, to know how is the greenhouse looking about. The investment that you've made in in those vegetables that you have put up there. So you want to have the temperature seen on your phone, right? Or you want to make sure that there are no thieves coming into your farm. So you employ different kind of sensors, so that sitting here in your from your phone, you can easily see what is happening out there. So all that you need is Wi-Fi connectivity at the farm. And for there also we have a solution. You can use a 4G router which is giving Wi-Fi at the farm and which is connecting different kind of sensors. So you have a soil sensor, you have a temperature sensor, you have a motion sensor, you have cameras, you have sprinklers.
All under one.
All under one, which we call as IoT. So IoT is a technical name, which is Internet of Things. But in a nutshell, it's all about connecting different devices together and seeing them on your app, on your phone.
Wow. A few years ago, people used to say that you could even talk to your fridge to let you know how much milk is still remaining. And it seemed like a joke. Now it's actually happening.
Yes, absolutely.
In a sense.
In a sense, yes. So you already have smart fridge these days. Yes, there are a reality, but they are expensive. So I am not a big advocate of those smart fridges, because they are meant to address a very niche customer base, which is high net worth individuals. Because normally you wouldn't spend 50,000-60,000 pula on buying a new fridge, right? So what we do is, where Gadget Guru specializes is automation which is affordable. So what we do is something called as retrofitting, which means we don't ask you to take out your existing aircon or your heater. We give you smart gadgets which sit on top of your things and make them smarter. A very common example is your geyser. Like in my personal case, if you ask me, winters are almost here. So with my 20-year-old geyser, I have put a smart circuit breaker. So what it does is, it wakes up at 4:30 in the morning, runs for half an hour and auto closes. To save on electricity, as well as I don't have to get up from my comfortable bed just to turn on the geyser. No, it does automatically on its own. Right?
Wow. Now, it seems to me that there are quite a few people calling themselves Gadget Guru around Gaborone. How did that come about? How or do you have branches across Gabs and up north?
Right.
There's Gadget Guru almost every mall.
Yes. So you're right there, because the name is fairly popular. Just that, yes, there are a lot of gadget shops across the country, but there is only one guru, and which is Gadget Guru. We don't have any branches. So what we do is, we've got a workshop in Commerce Park where we do a lot of innovative stuff. Where like I said, we are always about experimenting. The other shops, yes, they are doing a good job, but there they are only trading and trading mostly cell phones or accessories for that matter. These things, wonderful projects that I'm talking about, where we have put our heart and our blood and sweat, is only by Gadget Guru.
And doesn't it cause confusion in the marketplace that they are using your name?
It does. It does cause a confusion, because sometimes people ask us that, hey, there are so many gadget shops in town. What is so special about you? So I tell them, boss, come to us.
Where the real guru.
Where the real guru is. Or go online and search for our website, gadgetgurubw.com. That's where you will find all these wonderful technologies.
But in terms of growth, are you not considering retailing your inventions? You may need at some point to set up shop for that purpose. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. So that's what the plan is for this year. Especially we are getting a lot of inquiries from up north. uh, from the farms area as well as wildlife authorities, because the solar tracking project, even the wildlife department has taken notice of it for the anti-poaching activities. So we are trying to experiment to install these kind of solar trackers on wild animals. So that's where we need to have a branch out there, and we are working on it.
Now, one of the things you talk about is farm automation. It's all very well to put all these gadgets. I want to know whether there is in fact a fully fitted Gadget Guru fitted automated farm, and I want to know whether that such a farm has been successful and how successful it has been.
Yes. So there's a farm in Mokolodi where all these wonderful innovations have been deployed. So we have to make a social media video out of it, of what all automations we have done, and then very soon you will find it there, where we have installed smart cameras, we installed circuit breakers, temperature sensors. So many of the things that we talked about,
and you've integrated all of these
on one app.
And what difference has it made to the bottom line, the success of the farm?
Success of the farm in the sense that the farmer now after making all these investments, he is stress free, because his main occupation is not farming. That is second line of business for him. He is employed in a certain other sector in the daytime. So now even when he is at his regular job, he can keep a tab of what is happening in the farm from his phone. That's the beauty of the solution. So things just work around automatically in the background. That's the beauty of automation, that it has to make your life stress free. Right?
Okay. What are you doing about cost in terms of bringing it down for the consumer? Because I know when an item is new, it is expensive. For instance, the 1,500 puller for these tracking devices. Is there any strategy to bring the cost down, to make it affordable to the men, for the men in the street?
Yes. So it's all about volumes. That's how anybody who works with China will know. They work in certain numbers. They work in, so if you order maybe 100 devices, you get at a certain price. If you order 1,000, 10,000, so the actual price comes down if you promote these gadgets in bulk numbers. So that's what my plan is. I'm trying to address at least 1,000 installations of this tracker in the next quarter. That's where the price will come down. And the second strategy that I have in mind is also to approach the Ministry of Agriculture to make presentations to them, because I am told that subsidy is also another route which government encourages if it feels that these are the solutions which are needed in the market.
There's a lot of talk about manufacturing and moving manufacturing to Botswana. How desirable is it for you to now move some of your plants and to try and push for these devices to be physically manufactured here locally?
Yes, very relevant point, Mr. Mogobe, because I will agree to it. Any nation that needs to progress needs to have a very active and a very vibrant manufacturing platform, so that the local youth are employable, right? And I have that vision in mind, where I want to install a small factory or an incubation hub for these wonderful technologies. Right now, yes, the designing for the tracker has been done locally, but the manufacturing is done in China. So once we achieve certain numbers, I'm going to get the manufacturing done here locally. If not the manufacturing, at least the assembling part of it. You know, like in cars, you have CKDs, completely knocked down kits.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to, I have that vision in mind, whereby I get components from my suppliers and then we assemble them and put everything together in Botswana. So that will improve the skill sets of the local youth, as well as give us, what we call as CSRs, social responsibility that we have towards the nation. The nation is giving us so much, so we it is my responsibility as well to give it back. How I do it is training the youth and making them more employable.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about mentorship. When you talk about the youth, what programs do you have in place in terms of mentorship, and are there any, if you like, students about whom you are very proud who went through your hands?
Yes, so the philosophy at Gadget Guru is that we like to hire people who are fresh graduates, students who are fresh graduates, a lot of interns, as well as people with 1 or 2 years of experience, because what I realize is these are the right set of guys whom we can mold and we can train as per our requirements. Because what we look for, yes, is basic set of intelligence. In addition to that, what we value more is hard work and commitment, because that is something which I know will be beneficial to the company if we have a loyal set of employees. Sometimes you have employees who learn from you, and after 6 months they jump the ship, having learned the tricks of the trade. So what I am more keen to hire people is for their EQ. Yes, IQ is there, a given set, but I pay more importance to EQ part of it. So yes, we have trained at least 3 to 4 people I can count on my fingers, where I made them, gave them the training in terms of all these beautiful IoT things we talked about. And they were here with us for on average 1 to 2 years, and now they were able to get employment on their own. They were running successful small businesses centered around these devices. So I don't consider them as a threat, but I consider it as part of an ecosystem, because they're trying to spread around the word.
Are they making your inventions, or they're just selling some from you?
They are buying things from us, and then they are training users and installing those things.
Yeah. Again, your protection is important there. Think about it.
Right.
So there are about 5 about whom you are very proud.
Very proud.
And they are employing other people.
They're employing other people. They're running small successful businesses.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Kudos to you for that.
Right.
Now, let's talk about the future. Before I ask you about the future, the youngsters always ask me, you forgot to ask that guest, is he making money? Is he making serious money? And if so, what sort of money is he making? So I say, hey, it's an embarrassing question, but I'll still ask it.
You see, with us, yes, we are making money, but at the same time, what I'm here is for the long haul. You see, the philosophy that I carry in life, Mr. Mogobe, is to not have any shortcuts in life. I have spent almost 10 years in Botswana. I had a very cushy job back in India. I could have very well continued with that job, right? But I packed bags and I came to Africa simply because of the reason I saw an opportunity, a gap which I could fill up. So that's what I'm trying to do, in the sense that, yes, I'm leading a comfortable lifestyle. I drive a nice car, but it's a reasonable car. It's not a Range Rover. My vision is not a Range Rover, but my vision is to open more branches. So the money which I'm making, I'm trying to reinvest into the business in projects like the solar tracking or the car project, smart car project, so that in the next few years I have multiple branches. And I also want to grow across Botswana to neighboring regions. So yes, the money I'm making, I can easily afford to buy more fancy house, more bigger cars, but that's not my aim right now.
Your aim is to grow the business.
Grow the business.
And maybe long term is to have a multi-billionaire type of business, a really, really big international business.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good enough answer.
Right.
Time for you to ask me a question.
Right. Yes. So it's interesting having to learn from you, especially on the legal aspects. So from your experience, Mr. Mogobe, you've interviewed so many different entrepreneurs like me. What impresses you the most in these individual wonderful stories that you listen to?
It's a good question, but it always seems to go down to the issue of grit. Is this person I'm interviewing exhibiting a sense of perseverance? Is this someone who believes in being determined to achieve a particular goal? Others would define it as it's grit is the best word to define it. And every time I talk to somebody who displays that, I know that they're going to be very, very successful, and that they have the key formula for success. So it looks to me that apart from having a purpose, a goal, the key ingredient for you to achieve that is to have grit. And when you mentioned to me how you nearly gave up on your big invention, that told me clearly you have that that sense of grit, that never say die attitude. And for me, that's what impresses me the most. And I've been happy to see that the majority of people I've interviewed over the years possess this, and that is the reason they have succeeded.
Yes, I would agree with you because that is the hallmark for a successful entrepreneur, that to never give up and never think there are shortcuts in life. And that is one problem area I come across in the youth of today. I'm not talking about Botswana in particular, but in general, what youth are hungry for now is overnight success. It's this young generation of YouTube videos and YouTube shorts. They see YouTubers making instant money, but that is not the reality.
It doesn't work. You need resilience. You need resilience.
Right.
All right. Look at that camera there, sir, as we wrap up and leave the viewer with a few messages, party message as it were.
Right.
Something uplifting. That's your camera.
Right. So yes, guys, we had a wonderful discussion with Mr. Mogobe today, which touched upon some good aspects of technology. But my piece of advice to young people out there listening to me as a techie, as a guru, will be to say that there are no shortcuts in life. Be ready for the long haul, and have a never say die attitude. You might be seeing a lot of YouTube videos telling you otherwise, that you can make millions, but that is just false promises. So have the right set of values with you and be ready for the long haul. Success will be yours sooner or later.
Wow, that's a wonderful message.
Thank you.
Can you also share with them all your contact details, including on social media?
Yes, so you can contact us on our website, that's gadgetgurubw.com. We are available on YouTube. We have got some small videos out there for our wonderful products. We have a YouTube channel. Then you can find us on Facebook, on Insta. And what I prefer the most is come and see us in Commerce Park for a cup of coffee, where we talk all about technology and how it can be relevant to you.
Did you mention to them it's Unit 2, Plot 68, Commerce Park?
Yes, we are in Plot 68, Unit 2, Gaborone, Commerce Park. Botswana.
Thank you very much. You've been a fantastic guest. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you, Mr. Mogobe.
Mm.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Most welcome.